Welcome back to So. Today we're gonna make a wool hooded jacket with a back yoke and a vent also in the back. The vent is optional. If you're creating this, I made this vent last minute, and I'll show you what I did to get the effect that I wanted. This hood also has a cap on the hood. And we'll go over that. It's also optional if you want to. Here are the supplies you'll need: a sewing machine, ruler, scissors, and thread, and fabric of your choosing. You also need a zipper for closure, or buttons if you're going to use buttons to close it. Here are the pieces, the pattern pieces that you will need to create this. And there are additional pattern pieces that I will show in the going towards the end of this video that you'll also need. So first things first, we're going to cut out our pieces. Here's our back part of our hood, our sleeve, 2-part sleeve, optional. You can use a regular sleeve if you want, regular sleeve pattern. Our back, which is cut on the fold, and 2 pieces for your front. As well as the optional vent. We're going to cut 4 pieces out of the square. And the back yoke, we need 2 pieces for that too. Front facing, we need 2. And the cap portion of the hood, we need 2 pieces for that. First, we're going to start by stitching the sleeve. Raise this first part and second part of the sleeves, put them right sides facing, and pin. Take that over to your sewing machine and stitch. Here's what it should look like when you're finished. Next, we are going to stitch the hood portion. Same thing, right sides together. Then we're going to stitch, pin and stitch. Now we're going to do the same to the front portion, the cap portion of the hood. We're going to lay it forward, right sides together, pin, and then stitch. After you have those parts finished, we're going to now connect them together. Have the back part of the hood and the cap part of the hood. We're going to put it together right sides facing and pin and stitch. Next thing are here are my optional vent parts. If you don't want to do this, you can just make your center back line straight down to the back and not include a vent in your pattern. But to connect them, you'll just overlap both vents and then stitch them to the back. Then we're going to attach the back yoke. We're going to sandwich this between the front facing patterns, both pieces, and then we are going to pin and stitch the shoulder seams only. And here are the additional pieces that I didn't include in the pattern portion of the video up front. It's just the pocket flap and the pocket pieces itself. We're going to cut 4 pieces each of these patterns, and then we are going to stitch them right size facing and flip them inside out. The pocket flap only, not the other square and rectangular pieces. We're now gonna do a welt pocket with the rectangle, add interface, and I put my piece about 2 inches from the center front and about 12 inches from the bottom hem of the pattern, and I connected those together with pins. Then with the one piece of your front facing, the left or right, for my piece I chose the left part of my front faces. I'm gonna attach the other piece of the rectangular portion about, I believe I put this about 6 to 7 inches from the neck opening of the pattern. We're gonna lay it right sides facing, pin this together, and then we're gonna stitch about a 1/2 inch rectangle in the middle of the pattern. Here's what it should look like when you're finished. And we're going to now get a pair of scissors and cut down the middle of that welt pocket piece and the pattern, the front pattern piece. We're going to cut a slit right to the end and make a triangle when you get to the end. You're going to take that piece to the iron it out. It should look like this. Then get your pocket flap, insert it in the hole of the welt pocket, and stitch right at the top of the welt pocket. This is what it should look like when you're finished. We're going to now take one of our rectangular pieces and stitch it to the bottom portion of our welt, and take the second rectangular piece and stitch it to the top portion. And then we're going to connect the other 3 sides. You can start from the stitch that you already did on the top and then stitch all around. You're going to do this for both pockets. And now we are going to attach the sleeve. So find the center point of your sleeve and match it with the shoulder points and pin all the way around. Then we're going to take that over to our sewing machine and stitch. We're going to stitch over the side seam and the other portion of the sleeve, but one long straight stitch. We're almost there. Now, this is what your jacket should look like when you're finished stitching those seams, those side seams together. We're now gonna attach a optional zipper shield on either side. You don't need this, but I would like to add like a little design element to my piece. So this was an afterthought. This is basically just actually there's a 4-inch strip, which is the length of the center front, folded in half. You're gonna lay that down first and then put your zipper in between that and the front facing of your pattern and stitch straight down the center front. You're gonna do the same thing here, except we're going to put the zipper down first. Then your other shield, I made this one shorter. This is also optional. I made this one about 12 inches. And then your other facing piece. After you finish that, we're going to attach the hood to the neckline of the jacket. Sorry. So you're going to find the end and the center back of each piece and then pin them together and stitch them. And this is what it should look like when you're finished that process. Now we're gonna connect the facing pieces to the hood to hide that seam. So you're gonna place your hood back face down and pull your facing piece over the neckline and stitch along that line. Here's what it should end up with. And when you flip it inside out, you should have clean stitches, and it should hide the seams. Next, we're gonna stitch the bottom end of the facing and complete the jacket with hem. So you're gonna flip over just like we did in the top. Flip over your facing and face it right sides with the center front of the hood, and then stitch down. And this is what it should look like, a nice clean straight stitch. And then you're gonna go ahead and pin the rest of that down along with the sleeve, whatever seam allowance you chose. I chose 1/2 inch. And we're going to stitch these parts closed with a blind stitch. We're going to hand stitch this portion here. Here you go. You take a little fiber from your fabric and then you connect it with the hem and pull. So this should only be seen from the inside of the jacket. You would see no seams on the outside of the jacket. And here's our finished product. The flat pocket, the zipper shield, sleeves, you can see the back yoke, and then the hood. Let me know if you have any questions or any different tips you might have when you've made this jacket, and show me any completed products that you have. Like I said, I made a lightweight wool. This is a lightweight wool. If I was going to do this again, I would use a heavier knit or heavy wool fabric. Thank you for watching, and see you guys next week.